got introduced to FX around 2018 ending, and I started doing my research and learning around between the beginning of 2019 and mid 2019. My exposure was people taking personal accounts and growing them to a point where they can properly trade them. It was boys from SE, South Africa, that era. The plan then was always to get to a certain skill level, gather capital, then start trading that capital to a point where that capital can be sufficient for me to do all the other things that I want to do. So I got into this space, learned, and then eventually got to a point where I funded my first account around end in 2019, I think. I can't remember the exact date, but I'll share the details, so I'll put the screenshot here. FXTM, and I opened my first ever $100 account then with them. It was around 40k naira that I deposited, I think. Then proceeded to go through the process of being a newbie trader. I blew the account. After that, I took a step back, started learning process again. That's when I started learning about different strategies. I know I did not know what strategy was when I blew my first account. I was that JGC, but yeah, I started learning about strategies and started exposing myself to more people in the space, experts and stuff. Started acquiring more knowledge too, and then it got to a point where I saw this clip of YouTube video of somebody talking about how they got a payout from this firm, and that piqued my curiosity. It was my first exposure to prop firms. It was FTMO, as with everybody. As soon as I saw that, I started doing the research, trying to understand what prop firms were and how I could get my hands on one. As soon as I understood what they were and what they could do, the whole plan switched. It then became about finding one and then passing one. So I went through the process of watching people go through the evaluation stages to then getting to a point where they get their payouts. I was immersed in the prop firm space. Then FTMO was the dominant one, and then we had a few other ones that was competing for market share with FTMO. 2023, I now finally decided to take the plunge and take my first challenge, and I bought this 10k my funded FX account, and that was my first attempt at taking any challenge. Since then, I have taken another my funded FX challenge, a couple of MFF, my funded FX, and then a couple of Maven too, and that is between 2023 and 2026. I've had this front row seat seeing how the space itself has evolved, going from extreme growth and lots of firms popping out to eventually firms collapsing and not being able to pay their customers money. I was also around when MetaCruz decided to withdraw their licensing for most of these platforms, and they started switching to MatchTrader and other platforms. After that was when MFF was charged by the CFTC and they suspended operations and holding back a lot of payouts. So what's the state of prop firms in 2026? Is it something you should be getting involved with, or should you go the personal capital route? The major difference between prop firms now and in the previous years is there is a lot of accountability. There's a wider community of traders, so nefarious intentions that might have otherwise flown in previous years tends to get called out now. So if you're taking a prop firm, you are safer than you were, let's say, 3 or 4 years ago, because if they don't pay you, you can come online and then complain, and there's a community of people who are ready to pick up your cause until your money is paid. We also have sites like Prop Match where you can compare multiple different firms and then see also what their reviews are online, the negative things people have to say about them, and then the positives too. So research is more easily available for you now as compared to previous years where you are basically going into it blindly, that these people you are giving money, when it's time for them to pay out, they will pay out. It's blind trust. So I tend to lean towards the space itself being safer now than it was previous years. So the question now is it better for you to go after one of these challenges, or should you source your own capital? So here's the thing, in practical and objective terms, the prop firms themselves are easy winners in this conversation, because in theory they give you account sizes that you could not have afforded to give yourself. So you're paying a fee and then taking a challenge, and then once you pass those challenges, you're having an account that is significantly larger than the amount you're paying for the account itself. So on that part, they are better the account size itself and the money making opportunity it presents. But here's the flip side: they are notoriously difficult because the objectives themselves are meant to make you feel, as much as it looks easy, that it's 8 or 10% you're trying to hit, or 5%. The way the rules are structured, and in trading in general, if you're being restricted as to what you can or cannot do, your results tend to suffer. So they understand this part. The people who create these firms, they understand this part. They understand that if you set rules for people, they struggle to maintain those rules, and any added extra pressure on your trading, regardless of how little the input is, would significantly disrupt you. So while in theory it sounds like it's easy to just target the 8 or 10% pass, and then pass the second phase, then get the funded account, and then start printing money, the psychological baggage that comes with that is really difficult to handle, especially if you're doing this alone. So you will find people who have taken 20 to 30 challenges and then they've never passed a single phase. People who have spent life savings on challenge accounts and have never passed a single one. And here's where the counterpoint comes in. So imagine those people now. Imagine if they had taken that money and they invested it on their own personal accounts. They will not just have had money they can trade, but money they can withdraw at any time that they wanted. Personal accounts give you freedom and the ability to operate without extra pressure, and they also give you the ability that you can withdraw your money anytime you want without fear of a payout being rejected. Although brokerages and their shenanigans, but that's a different conversation. So when it comes to the platform conversations, yes, they are worth it, but then the caveat is that you need to have the skill set. You need to be able to handle the mental pressures that comes with taking the challenges, passing the phases, and then managing the actual accounts. So it's a lot of investing in your skill set. But if you want to go that route, you can go that route. Just make sure that you are prepared for the implications and you are able to handle the mental side of it. But if you also want to do the personal account, that has its perks too. So you won't be restricted as far as your trading style is concerned, and then if you were to need the money, you won't have to be hitting specific targets for you to get the money. There's also something comforting in knowing that something is yours. So platforms 2026, definitely worth it, but then understand the implications, especially the mental implications that comes with rules around platforms. Drawdown limit, daily drawdown, for some consistency rules, profit target fees 1, profit target fees 2, profit in your funded fees. There's a lot that comes with it, and not everybody can handle that a lot. But if you feel like you can handle it, you have the skill set, and you're capable of keeping yourself in check, it's definitely worth it. So yeah, if you want to see me attempt platform challenges without you having to go through them, like and then subscribe.